Hello, class. So this is going to be our first week of learning. This week we will be using Google Slideshows to present the information. So a few housekeeping things before we get started. If you look down in the bottom corner of the slide, you're going to see a yellow clock with a time underneath it. And you'll see that on every slide on the two presentations that you'll be looking at this week. Those just are a reference point to kind of give you uh, an idea of how long it should take to do the work on each of the different slides. For some of us, we might be able to do it a little quicker, and others of us it might take us a little longer, but it's just the general guidelines to kind of let us know how we're progressing through and to help us kind of keep a good pace as we're going through. If you look up top here, you're going to see it has my name and what subject we're in, but then it's going to have in that blue highlight, the blue section up there, it says, what does it mean to be an American? And so that is going to be our guiding question as we work through this slide deck. So as you're going through the different slides and looking at the different things, that's kind of the question you should be thinking about. How could I use what we're looking at here, or how could I use what I'm looking at here to answer that question? What does it mean to be an American? Just to give you kind of a framework to kind of think through, all of us have different titles that we live with. Some of us, our brothers and sisters, we're sons or daughters, we're nieces or nephews, we're students. Some of us might have a job already, so we might be workers and have different titles depending on what kind of jobs you might have. So we all have different titles, and one of those could be you're an American. For many of us, if not all of us, that's what we would identify as being an American, but potentially not all of us might identify as American. We might identify as something else, depending on your background. And so when we're going through this, even if you're not, if you don't identify as an American, it's still that thinking of what does it mean to be an American or whoever you are, or maybe if you're not American, you want to take it in a different context as thinking about what does it mean to be a nationality different than what I am. But that's kind of the idea that we're going to be looking through is what does it mean to be an American? So think about that as you're going through the different activities. How would you answer that question? And then and then we'll talk more about this on our first day back in class. As you're working through any of this, if you have any questions, remember you can come to the office hours. That's from 10:30 to 11 a.m. on the days you're not in school. Except for Wednesdays, remember I'm not available. I have meetings on Wednesday. But from 10:30 to 11 on the days you're not in school, you can pop into the office hours and ask any questions you might have.